Good evening. The matter of the President's White House tape recordings took a totally unexpected turn today. It is now said by the President's lawyer that 2 of the 9 requested tape recordings do not exist. One of them involves a phone call between the President and John Mitchell, then his campaign manager, 3 days after the Watergate burglars were caught in the Democratic Party headquarters. That call is said to have been on an extension telephone which was not hooked up to the recorders. The other tape, which doesn't exist, involves a lengthy conversation the President had in his office with John Dean, then his White House counsel. That conversation, according to Fred Bazart, the President's lawyer, was not recorded due to a malfunction of the system or a basic inadequacy of the recording system. Bazart's statement is in conflict with a story in the New York Times last September, which says that congressional sources were told that Bazart himself listened to that particular recorded conversation so he could brief the President on it during Dean's testimony before the committee. All of this came out today in the courtroom of Judge John Sirica. Gordon Graham has more on the story.
It was Chief Judge John Sirica who made the startling announcement that 2 of the controversial White House tapes did not exist. The judge said he had learned of it yesterday and wanted it on the record. The tapes covered conversations between the President and former Attorney General John Mitchell on June 20th, 1972, and Mr. Nixon's talk with John Dean on April 15th of this year. White House lawyer Fred Bazart said there was no Mitchell tape because the President talked with Mitchell on a phone not connected to the White House recording system. He said the Dean tape did not exist because of a malfunction of the recording system. Secret Service electronics technician Raymond Zumwalt testified that an automatic timer failed to activate a backup tape recorder, and the first tape ran out before the President talked with Dean. Outside the court, Bazart was questioned by reporters.
The first guy with the spin glasses. Mr. Bazart, can you tell us why there hadn't been an announcement earlier that 2 of the tapes did not exist?
No, I can't tell you.
When did you discover, sir, that the tapes were missing?
This will come out in the court in due process.
Do you think the public will believe this story?
Is it a recent
I don't know.
discovery, Mr. Bazart?
Yes.
How recent, sir?
That I can't say. It will come out.
Okay.
Gordon Graham, NBC News, Washington.
Before the surprise announcement today, there was not even a suggestion from the White House that the 2 tapes did not exist, and there were many opportunities for at least a warning. For instance, on Monday of this week, Deputy White House Press Secretary Jerry Warren was asked about the tapes, and he said that they were under the President's personal control, adding that they were secure. After Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox was fired last week, the President's Chief of Staff, General Alexander Haig, and his Chief Legal Advisor on the tapes issue, Charles Allen Wright, met reporters, and naturally the question of the tapes came up. When Professor Wright was asked if they would produce everything the subpoena called for, he said they would produce everything. Everything. The subpoena called for 9 tapes. At one point, General Haig referred to the earlier proposed compromise release of the tapes, and he said, quote, "The decision to provide the third-party transcripts of the 9 tapes, he said, plus the overlap tapes, would have given Professor Cox the tapes that he had requested." Again, no mention from the missing tapes. But late this evening, a high White House official said they did not discover that the conversations were not recorded until sometime this past weekend. According to that September 9th story in the New York Times, one of the tapes listed as missing today did exist earlier, or at least there's a question about it. The Times story quotes sources on the Senate Watergate Committee as giving this account. During John Dean's testimony, President Nixon decided